All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Renatus J.A.M. My name is Jay Stark, and joining me as always is my fearless co-host,
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Mr. Matt Snyder.
Being fearless.
Being fearless. Always fearless.
That's right.
To be my co-host, you have to be fearless.
It's like stepping into the ring with Mike Tyson.
That's right. Welcome to the Thunderdome. I tell you what, I just got to give a big shout out to Mr. Richard Stock, Ryan and Laura Black, Scott Rowe, Bob Snyder, and the whole home team, and everybody who joined us for the last stop of the Mega Reunion Tour.
Yeah, they killed it.
Oh my goodness.
What
it was
a good
the
one.
first one that I've been able to attend, and it was phenomenal.
It sure was.
I mean, phenomenal. To the point where I have been working with Bob now for 11 years. We just hit our 11-year. I feel like I should get a chip or something. Here's your 11-year chip. I don't know. Anyway, we hit our
But just take it one day at a time.
Tough times don't last, tough people do. We hit 11 years together, and listening to him train at this Mega Reunion Tour gave me a reframing, gave me an absolute shift on how I have seen the Renatus opportunity. 11 years, and I still am experiencing these shifts because of Mr. Snyder.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Oh, he was fantastic. And, every time I love getting to watch him because every time I sit down, I'm watching him and man, I'm just taking notes. He's good. Everything from the way that he interacts with the crowd or the audience and the way that he, just kind of moves through his topic or presentation. And I mean, I had fun watching him.
Oh yeah.
Just as handle stuff on the fly, especially. That's especially what I find fun and fascinating is watching him and how he handles that, and he does such a good job.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Scott Rowe came out and did the comp plan presentation.
Yes, he did.
And my favorite part was Scott had been going kind of back and forth with this gentleman named Jerry. And Jerry was a guest
on the front row.
On the very front row. He sat on the front row, and Scott was going back and forth with him. And Jerry was a great sport. He was bantering back and forth with Scott, having a great time. Well, Scott did the click and read regarding the comp plan.
Yeah.
So he had talked about the comp plan a little bit. He had explained it, and then he gave an opportunity for Jerry, who is a guest, to come up on stage, to click the PowerPoint clicker, and then to read what came up on the slide. And Jerry, because of Scott's preparation and the PowerPoint he had put together, Jerry presented the comp plan.
Man, I wish I could have been there for that. I did not see that part of his presentation.
It was awesome.
I can't believe that.
Awesome.
That is awesome. I hope we've got footage of that somewhere.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. And we're actually working through it right now because it was brilliant.
Yeah.
The way that I define brilliant is taking a complex subject and breaking it down into bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
Breaking it down into understandable pieces. And that's what this was. It was brilliant.
That's
Scott.
cool. Well, Scott crushed it, man.
Oh, yeah.
I was so impressed. Just all of it.
Oh, yeah.
He interacted with the audience so well, especially Jerry, and I was just loving it.
Oh yeah, Jerry at one point in time like tried to hand Scott his wallet. He's like, "Take my money." It was so funny.
Jerry, I better see you at the National, buddy.
Oh yeah,
I need to meet this guy face to face and shake his hand because I didn't get the chance while he was here either. So
then we also had Ryan and Laura and Richard Stock all came up on stage and were able to share their stories. And that was impactful. Mr. Michael Huggins was here in the studio with us, and he got up on stage. And what he shared about mindset and about the way that words have power in our lives and how we can actually change the world by changing our mindset.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
It was powerful.
It was so good. You know what?
Yeah.
I want to share one thought. It's actually two thoughts.
All right.
Real quick here.
What you got?
I took pages of notes, right?
Yeah.
I just absolutely loved what we were getting into. But here's this. Nothing was created that didn't start as a thought that someone couldn't let go of.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's true, man. You think about it, like everything came from somebody who was probably not sleeping at night with this idea.
Right. Couldn't let go of something.
Yeah.
And so then I saw a quote a few days later, and I don't know who said that. They said, the next $1 billion idea is a thought in somebody's mind right now.
That's true.
And so thoughts are the root of our actions. You know, it's almost, I love talking about faith. You and I were talking about this the other day, right? A lot of people associate faith with God. And that's great. We should have faith in God. But I also think that faith is the root of all action. We take action based on our faith. And so if we were to take an inventory of our lives and reverse engineer what actions led to today, what does our life demonstrate we believe in?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think nothing happens. You got to have faith in something if you know, that idea or business idea or thing you want to do or whatever, you got to have some kind of faith in it to even try it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thought that I wanted to share was if you want to fly, give up the things that weigh you down.
Yeah. And that's hard to do sometimes. I mean, that can be one of the hardest things to do.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's, I think, one of the biggest obstacles to success for a lot of people is not actually doing the thing that will make them successful, but letting go of the things that are holding them back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is it was such a good time though.
Yeah.
We had so much fun. We had close to 150 people on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Had I think another 130 or 140 on Saturday. And it was just amazing. It was amazing, the energy in the room. It was amazing to hear how much people once again were just feeling the family connection.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
feeling that.
Me,
right?
I said it to my dad on Friday night. We went out axe throwing for the, you know, kind of just activity or whatever, having fun. We had a whole bunch of people with us, you know, probably, I don't know, 50 or so ICMs in our group. And we went out there and we threw axes and just competed and stuff. But I said to him, I can't believe how much I took this for granted before the pandemic. Like just getting together and like you just don't really respect it for what it is or enjoy it for what it is. And now I really do appreciate it.
Yeah.
And, you know, in a whole nother level. So it was so much fun to get back together with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on. That was just such a cool experience. So glad I got to take part in it.
Yeah.
And for anyone else who was able to attend a Mega Reunion Tour event across the nation, I'm sure you feel the same way. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So cool. So, Mr. Snyder, what's new and exciting?
New and exciting. We got the National coming up. That can't be forgotten.
Oh, man.
No, I'm not forgetting about it. That's
that's
sure.
good.
Yeah.
You shouldn't forget about it.
I have not.
You are presenting.
I am well aware.
At the National.
I'm well aware.
Lest you forget.
Yeah. No, yeah. That's it's been on my mind quite a bit lately, Jay. So,
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine. So at the National Conference, let me ask you this question. And, you know, we've asked so many people that have been on the J.A.M with us, you know, what their thought is regarding, you know, how important is it to attend the National. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you, you know, you've obviously been to every single National.
I went to every one of them starting, so 2015 was the first full National that I attended.
Okay.
Before that, I had gone to like the banquets and stuff, but I didn't go to the full thing. Because at that time I had other stuff going on. I wasn't marketing Renatus or anything.
Right.
I saw the vision in 2014, which is why 2015 National, I was there for it, man. And that's actually the National that I started marketing after that National.
It was after the National that you started to market.
Yes.
What changed?
Well, we've talked about Head to Your Heart, but like I really got Renatus at that point. I didn't really fully understand what it was, as funny as that may be, right? Like, I just didn't quite grasp the magnitude of what this education can and will do for people if they're willing to use it. And you go to the National and you see all these people that they got educated, their lives have changed or transformed in significant ways, to the point where they did leave their job or whatever, or they were able to control their time and be with their family more, and make more money.
Yep.
And those are big things. And so it was really fun for me to see, but I also saw it for myself. It's like, holy crap, why am I not doing this? This has been here all along. Why am I not doing it? So anyways,
nice.
the fire was, that fire was
right.
put in the belly, so to speak.
Nice.
So,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Every single National that I go to, my belief in myself and therefore in my opportunity are increased every time.
Yep.
The presentations are phenomenal, and the people that get invited to present on the national stage, they give everything that they can give, and they give in such a way where you they can't give. Let me try that again. They give in a way that they couldn't give any other time or in any other place.
Yeah.
Because there's no other group ever assembled like there is at the national conference.
No, there's not. And so it's very unique. And if you haven't been, or even if you have been, I mean, don't miss this national for anything. It's one of those things you get to the back end and everybody's always saying, man, I wish I would have, I would have invited so-and-so or brought my spouse or brought, whatever.
I wish that we weren't always like right on with those things. We hear it every single year.
It's true.
But let me ask you this question. If you had to rank, let's just say the top 2 not missable events of the year, what would they be?
Nationals and regionals. That's easy, right? Easy. So this last year, I think the Mega Tour would have also gone on that list.
That kind of replaced the typical regional.
It did, in a sense. And so, but yes, those are the 2 you don't miss.
Nice.
Ever.
I'm gonna give it away here just a little bit. We had this conversation with Bob Snyder on Monday.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the Mega Reunion Tour. And the question was brought up about whether or not he would be willing to continue potentially visiting up-and-coming markets, Mega Reunion style. And he said, maybe. So if we can create a great enough demand in different markets, maybe I would bet that if the demand is there, he'll show up. I would be willing to bet that as well. However, I don't want to make any guarantees or anything like that. I will say this like Field of Dreams style. If you build it, he will come. So, all right.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
All right. So, what else is new and exciting? The national conference. Can't miss that.
Well, and I've been thinking a lot about the leaders retreat. I don't, we're not talking about that, but
we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah, but let me just tell you, you're gonna want to go.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be
fun.
Incredible.
Where are we at? We have no more 10-day challenges until after the national.
Yeah,
right?
Do
we have anything on the books?
There's one that's wrapping up right now.
Yes, we do.
It will finish up tomorrow. It's day number 10.
Do we have another one that's on the schedule after that?
We do.
When is it?
It starts on April 5th.
Awesome. Okay.
I had to do a little bit of math in my head really quick.
Because I think it's like the 2nd, April 2nd, the national.
Yeah,
ends,
the national concludes on April 2nd.
Okay.
And then we start the next 10-day on April 5th. And here's what I guarantee we're going to find. And that is that April 5th will be our biggest turnout for the 10-day challenge.
That's where I was headed.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking if we had anything on the books for after nationals, because I think you're going to see a lot of people that, the passion, the fire, the head to the heart thing, and they're going to be all in.
Yeah.
And, because you get it.
Yep.
You when you really start to, you see it with your own eyes, you get it.
Oh, yeah. And then when you see hundreds of other people who get it, it helps you be inspired to go, if they can do it.
It's fun because it makes it feel like you're not in it alone.
Right.
Right? Like you're in it with everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a whole community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got the national conference. We talked about the 10-day challenge.
Yeah. What else we got, Jay?
Man, you know what? We got all the video submissions are in, and our team's working on that.
Yep.
There's really not much else to go into right now other than to bring out our featured guest for the podcast.
Yes.
And how about this? Let's tag team this thing.
Okay,
I'll do a little
on.
bit of a warm
You're
opener.
on.
I'll throw it to you, and you
Yes.
can do the actual introduction.
Okay.
Speaking about that our actions are a result of our faith, there is a man who epitomizes that direct result. His life is a result of the faith that he has, the faith that he has in God, the faith that he has in himself, the faith that he has in others. And he has done a phenomenal job of being able to share that faith, that vision, and those results with the Renatus community, unlike any other that we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'll throw it over to you, then we'll bring him out.
Thank you, Jay. This is somebody that I very much admire. Amazing hard work ethic, and just a good person. Some people, to impress me or for me to admire somebody, it's not about how much money they make or things like that. I want to know the character behind the man, and I believe this to be a very good man and somebody that I respect and look up to in that regard. And so I just want to bring out Ron Williams to our podcast.
Yes, Mr. 777 Ron Williams himself.
Yeah, why did you not quit at 6, 6, and 6, Ron? You had to go for 777.
That's a real good story, man. One year, I had retired at 666.
Yeah.
And I went about a year, and I started thinking it was an excuse to come out of retirement, really, but a really good excuse. And I thought, 666. If I don't come out of retirement now, I'm gonna have to live out the rest of my days with the mark of the beast, 666.
Right.
And I thought,
Yes.
man, 777 is the number of completion. So I've got to get in shape and do it one more time. So I went back and competed in all three again, Mr. Universe, Mr. World, Mr. Olympia, and won them all three again so I could retire in peace.
So how was that coming out of retirement? Like, you spent some time no longer competing, and your mindset probably changes at that point. And then to re-switch back into that gear of you got to compete and you got to be at tip top, was that difficult for you?
It was, Matt, to be honest with you, it was extremely difficult, and I had to be convinced and had to develop that same mindset of a champion because, one of the thoughts that I had, this is the honest truth. I thought about Michael Jordan when he retired and he came back. He was really good, but he wasn't the Michael Jordan he was before.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the Michael Jordan. I wanted to come back and be the best. So I had to go through this not only with my spiritual faith, but faith in myself, making sure I had the right supplementation, making sure I had the right nutrition plan, and I just gave it 100% because when I go after it, it's with everything, man. I intend to win.
Yeah. I love that.
That's evident. Anyone who's met you can feel that burning desire, that X factor that's hard to put your finger on and say, "Oh yeah, this is why." So where did that commitment come from?
Well, for the first 28 years of my life, I experienced a series of losing. And when I found out one day that I could win, man, I became addicted to it, and won over 250 bodybuilding championships, and thought, man, I don't have to lose anymore. I'm on the winning team.
Hmm.
So I just developed a life and a mentality of winning. And now I'm still competing, but I want to my competition today is different. I want to transfer what I have to other people so they can experience the same thing. And you guys said something earlier. It has a lot to do with your mindset, your thought process. Nothing is created without first having a thought, and then it's what you think, and it turns into what you feel, and what you feel determines how you act, and how you act determines your results. And so if we can change the first thing, the way we think, and if you don't like, this is what I say, if you don't like the results you're getting, change what you think. And if you change what you think, you'll change what you feel and how you act, and you'll get different results.
Yes, yes, yes. Man, I feel like we could end right there, but I don't want to.
I know that was a great answer.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. I love that, and I love that you're now committing your life to helping other people to develop that same drive, that same belief in themselves to know they can win.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a key to overcome that doubt in ourselves, right? I feel like that's like the first hurdle to any success is overcoming our own self-doubt.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it really is. It really is giving yourself permission to win. And I didn't know you could do that, man. I thought, hey, if you'd have said, hey, loser, I'd say, hey, that's me. And I would answer to that. And I didn't know all I had to do was give myself permission to win, develop the right mindset, and off to the races, man.
that's so you said that transformation happened at 28. So what was the event that you first won, or what really helped you think, now I can choose to be a winner?
Well, to really explain that, it wasn't an event that I won, because I won an event, but I was still losing. I won the first Mr. Universe, but I had a loser's mentality. When I got on stage, what drove me to compete was trying to prove myself not to be second rate. If I took second place, I didn't know the difference between being second place winner or a second rate individual, because I was taught and trained, and I had a mentality of losing. And if I won, it's because it was luck. It was because of some other unfortunate reason for someone else. And even when I won, the fear was somebody else is out there that's after my title now. So I've got to, instead of going and celebrating, I would go and train. So I had a loser's mentality. I didn't even enjoy the winning. I loved the fact that I didn't lose more than I loved the fact that I won.
Whoa.
Because it was proving something to myself.
Wow. Yeah.
And then that shifted. When that shifted, my world shifted, and I could have it all. I could be happy, plus enjoy winning, and still keep that that motivation and that mentality of overcoming.
So you were 28 when you started your professional bodybuilding career, right?
No.
Okay.
I was 20. My professional in bodybuilding, I won the Mr. Universe, Mr. World, and Mr. Olympia as amateur. The difference between the amateur and the professional is money. When you get paid, then you're a professional. I would actually turn the money in, so I wouldn't be a professional until I was 40 years old.
How come?
The reason why is because when I turned 40, I could win the Masters at 40 years old. You had to be 40 to compete in the Masters.
Yeah.
I could win the Open, which is amateur, and I could win the professional on the same day. So I turned the money in so I could reach that goal.
So you could still compete in the amateur and grab all three of those. I see.
Yeah. So for me, it
Wow.
wasn't about the money.
It was about winning.
The money.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I wanted to do something that nobody else had ever done.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I mean, 40. So have followed bodybuilding a little bit over the years, and so I've had friends and stuff that have competed, but I'm not like really up in the know of the whole sport. But kind of, where do you age out of the sport? Where does that start to happen?
Supposedly somewhere around 35. But me, I competed up until I won the Mr. Olympia up until age, I think 46, 47, and what is when I retired.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I retired. I retired. I retired winning. I didn't retire because I took second place. I retired number one.
And that's the best way to go out. I love it. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That is incredible. Sorry, I'm just kind of drinking everything that you're saying in right now.
You're dashing my hopes, though. I'm 35 now. You're telling me I'm
man, no. He's
out.
telling you right now you got another 10, 11, 12 years.
That's right. I better get
busy.
To it.
Matt,
do I have to
yourself permission to win.
Do I have to give up cookies to win?
Yes, you do.
Oh, man. Just sacrifice.
Just for the rest of your life. That's all.
Just for the rest of my life. Oh,
don't worry. I mean, Ron has told me before that he has no taste for sugar anymore. He doesn't even enjoy it.
You know what? In all seriousness, I've dieted hard before, and like where I cut out pretty much all sugar, all simple carbs, right? And after it only took like 4 days, and I didn't even crave junk food anymore. And then when I did eat it, it made me sick.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know, but yeah. So do you what do you do now? I mean, you still lift. I saw your gym there. It's amazing, right? Like, do you just work out to stay in shape? Is there anything else behind it that motivates you or pushes you, or what's?
Are you coming out of retirement? Is that what you're asking him right now?
Are you gonna come out of retirement?
Well, you know what? I said to myself 1 year ago that when I turned 60, I would be in better shape or as good a shape as when I competed. I turned 60 February 6th. And man, if you've seen the way, let me just show you here real quick. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, come on.
You had us.
Such a tease.
But if you could see me right now, you would be completely amazed at this 60-year-old. A lot of times you see bodybuilders, they look in the mirror at themselves and they say, man, I really look good. Or you have some, they look in the mirror and they say, I need to work on this. I need to work on this. I need to work on this. I walk past the mirror and I look at myself and I go, is that me? I mean, the amazing changes that have taken place in just this last year is incredible. You wouldn't think a 60-year-old could do what I've done.
That's awesome.
So then you didn't really answer the question. Are you coming out of retirement then? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well, one thing I heard by this inspiring, brilliant man that we all know is about a year ago, he said, Ron, you're probably the only one that I know that could come out of retirement and still win. And I started thinking about that. And that man was Bob Snyder.
You got those wheels turning, huh?
Yeah. And so I started training like just a crazy man. And I mean, it's been fun. It's been enjoyable. And what I found out, they have this saying that you can't beat Father Time. And I'm in 100% agreement with it. But what I've done is I've joined hands with Father Time, and I'm just going to have a lot more of it.
Yeah, I like that.
A lot more time.
That's
nice.
I like that. That's actually what really was the catalyst for me to start working out, especially cardio, spending more time getting my heart rate up and stuff, was because I thought, I want to have more time on this planet. I got stuff to do, and I want to make sure that I'm taking care of stuff. So it was a little over a year ago, I started working out again and taking it fairly serious. Not serious like Olympia serious, but just, dad with 3 kids serious. So, yeah.
I didn't know you had 3 kids, but I'm going to tell you something. There was some wisdom in what you just said. because cardiovascular wise, when you are in good cardio shape, it increases life and longevity. And when
Yeah.
you increase your strength and your endurance, what that does, it doesn't increase life and longevity, but it decreases infirmity and sickness and pain in the body. So if
Yeah.
you do them both, you have the longevity without all of the pain and the sickness that a lot of people acquire when they get older.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that. That's what I started to do was cardio and lift weights. So I do it all.
Awesome.
And yeah, I've seen, a significant improvement in quality of life from me. So
That is
That's amazing.
awesome.
That
yeah.
is amazing.
So, okay, I'm going to ask you one last time, and I promise this is the last time I'll ask. You coming out of retirement then? Are you going to come out and compete?
Jay wants answers.
The thing about that is I can't, I haven't told my wife first. So I haven't, and if she said you told somebody else and didn't tell me, so I can't really conclusively
He can't answer that
that.
question.
Uh,
He can neither
so
confirm
I
nor
would have to
deny.
say, there you go. I plead the fifth.
I love it. Oh man, yeah. Mr. Ron Williams, I tell you what, that's phenomenal. I follow you online, and I've seen a lot of the camps and everything that you've done recently, or the camp that you did recently, and it's awesome to see how you inspire people. That's one of the reasons why I'm absolutely thrilled that you are going to be featured at our national conference coming up in here in just a couple of weeks. Do you have any kind of a preview that you can give folks on what you're going to be training on, what you're going to talk about?
Well, one of the, there'll be probably four things that I'll cover because I have 60 minutes instead of 90 or 70 minutes. So I'm trying to condense the material that I have, but I want to give them some takeaways that they can take away with them of how to increase life and longevity, and also mindset, how important mindset really is. And the only difference, I think about Bob Snyder and I think about Matt here. I think about how Matt was raised. I'm jealous of you, Matt, to first of all, because you were raised in a home with a man like Bob Snyder. And one of the things that happened to me last month is I was training some youth at one of the girls and boys clubs. And I have a firm belief that we're all created equal, but some of us have handicaps. Wow. That is so important. And what I did out of all of these youth that were sitting there, I took 10 of the youth and I picked them out by hand. And they were male, they were female, some were black, some were white, different races. I mean, we had Hispanics there, we had blacks there, we had whites there, we had I was Chinese there. I was going to say Oriental, but my wife said, you can't say Oriental. Oriental is a rug, not a person. So, so I'm learning you can't say Oriental.
I love
So,
it.
so
I
we
get it.
had all of these different graphics there, and I asked some questions. I said, we're going to run a race. Who's the fastest? And the person that was the fastest was this little black kid. And so we put them all on the same starting line. And I asked them some questions. I asked questions like, how many come from a two-parent home? And then some raised their hands. I had them take a step up. And I said, how many came from a one-parent home? I had them take a step back. And then I said, how many were given away or adopted as a child? And some raised their hand. I had them take another step back. And I asked them, I said, how many have seen 7 violent acts in their life? And the ones that raised their hand, I had them take a step back. And at the end, we had one person that had taken 10 steps back, and it was the guy that was the fastest. So they all were in different, if you'll picture this, they were in 10 different groups, one in the very back, and they only had 50 yards to run. The fastest one was not going to cross the line first. Even though they were created equal, they had different levels of handicaps.
Yeah.
Now, the handicaps doesn't make them less, but what they do, if you use those handicaps as fuel and use it as passion, it'll give you what it takes to make up the difference. I was one of those kids that had a lot of handicaps, but I used it as fuel instead of an excuse to give me the ability and the energy to propel me forward rather than make an excuse saying, well, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. I learned how to overcome that and use it as fuel to make me better. And so that was my message to the kids, that regardless of where you start, you didn't have jurisdiction over where you started. You didn't have jurisdiction over the parents. You didn't have jurisdiction over the country you were raised, that you were born in. But you don't have the ability to control your start, but you have all of the ability to control your finish. And you've got to decide, it's your decision to finish well. And see, I made a decision at 28 years old, and that's late, that I'm going to finish well. I couldn't read at 28. I could not read at 28 years old. I was completely illiterate. And I learned how to read and became a college professor and a book writer at 35. So, and by the time I was 40, I was a college professor. But I made that determination, and you can teach an old dog a new trick. I'm proof.
That is
So
awesome.
you can win. And so I want to get across mindset. When you start believing, not, as you said, Jay, not just in God, but begin to believe in what's inside of you. Change your thought process. You can overcome anything. And some people are afraid of business. They're afraid of doing Renatus. They want to do Renatus. They feel it inside, but they don't believe in themselves. If they change their thought process, they'll find that the person who's successful is not smarter than them. The person that's successful believes in themselves and their capability of doing it. And everybody don't start at the same place. Some people do Renatus for 4 or 5 years before it finally sparks. I can do this. And then they excel. So the shortcut is start believing in yourself now. Excel now. Don't wait 4 or 5 years. Don't wait 10 years. Do it now.
Boy.
Boom. Just like that.
Ron.
Yes.
That is some goods. I mean, that is awesome. That is such a great example, because I also agree that all men and women are equal, right? We're all equal, but, I was not born in a body to play in the NBA, right? I could. Muggsy Bogues did it, right? But he used and fueled that handicap to become the shortest professional basketball player ever, right? It became a strength. And so, and I've seen that so many times in my life where it's not about becoming a victim. You get stuck in that victim mindset. Well, poor me because of this, that, and the other or whatever, and you'll never succeed with that kind of mindset. I love that example. That was great.
Can I tell a personal story real quick? That'd be all right?
Yes. I have my permission.
I have 2 sons, and they're 15 and 13 respectively. Mm-hmm. My 15-year-old, he's probably I think he's right around $183 right now, 183 pounds. My 13-year-old is at 92 pounds.
Yeah.
He's almost 100 pounds lighter than him.
Yeah.
They are on a wrestling team together. They're on the same wrestling team. They wrestle.
Yeah.
And my younger son, this happened last week. My younger son, this is his first season ever competing in wrestling like this.
Yeah.
And he wrestled this kid. And he got turned over on his back. And then he did this move where he arched up, so he put his head into the mat, and then he arched his back hard, and he arched so far up that he was able to shift the balance of the kid on top of him enough that he rolled him over and pinned him. So he literally went from on his back, about to be pinned, and he was able to roll him over and pin this kid in one move.
Yeah.
He found out after the match that the kid that he was wrestling was a 6-year veteran of the Sanderson group. Yeah, I don't know if you know them in wrestling or not.
I don't.
They're an elite group of wrestlers, and he was the team captain.
No way.
And my son was like, "Oh my gosh, if I would have known that, that would have killed me."
If I would have known that,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. That
Yeah.
mental aspect.
So
Yep.
he was, man, getting a little emotional.
Yeah, it's all right. That's okay.
But because he believed in himself, because nobody...
This is the passion of a father right here. I love it, man. Nobody cares about his kids more than Jay does. I've seen him.
Well, because nobody told him he couldn't, he did.
Yeah.
So we should surround ourselves with people who don't tell us we can't, who give us permission to go out there and do, to believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
And win.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Win.
Thank you, Jay. Absolutely, man. That's a great story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so representative of life. I mean, I do a thing called Good Vibrations every Monday morning for the pack call. So, all the pack and my dad and Jay and I get on this call together. And we always kick it off with what's called Good Vibrations. And it's just a story. I highlight somebody. I'll highlight, somebody who's really overcome a lot of odds and become successful. And I've done, I don't know how many at this point, 80 something probably.
A bunch, yeah.
Maybe I'm over 100. I don't remember. A lot. But how many times I see a success story where it was the mindset of the individual that got them there. It was what were they thinking? What were they putting into their mind? Nobody's, if somebody's telling them they can't, they're not believing it, and that's the difference, right? And so it was super cool. I love that story. I'm gonna share that story.
Do it.
Yeah,
I give you permission.
Thank you.
But I tell you what, I love how you put it, Ron. How you talked about it starts with belief. It starts with the mindset. It starts with us deciding we can.
Yeah.
Sorry, my nose is starting to run now.
Oh, you're fine.
Anyway,
it's all belief.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And so, Ron? Let me just ask you this, and I know I have loved being with you on the line. I don't want to take a whole lot more of your time.
Yeah.
But what would you say is the first step to shifting your mindset? What's the first thing that people can do to go from where they are to start facing the direction they want to go?
This might not be the answer that you want, but this is one of the things that is so important, Jay, is realize we have addictions. We have addictions. Some people have addictions to drugs, to alcohol, to pornography, sex, all types of addictions. But those addictions to video games, we can go on. And I can help you and explain to you why these addictions are bad. Because you can see the physical damage that they do and the damage they do to families. But there's an addiction that's worse than that. And that is a thought addiction. You can have thought addictions, and those thought addictions work the same way. When your thought addiction is played out, it releases endorphins, and you feel good about it. And the thought addiction has to be changed. So while you're doing what you're doing moving forward, you've got to work on your thought addictions and realize that they're there and overcome them. I had so many thought addictions, it wasn't funny. And I had to overcome those thought addictions. In the first part of this process of overcoming the thought addiction, you use your willpower. So a certain part of your brain shuts off. Whenever you go on a diet program and you start changing the food you eat, you start getting cravings and you start getting antsy, you start getting jumpy. You're not releasing those endorphins and those happy hormones that you were when you eat a certain way. So you're using your willpower to keep fighting it. The willpower gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it gives in and you give in to the food. That addiction takes over. It's the same way with any other addiction. If you've ever been addicted to anything, you'll find out it's the same thing because it works the same way. So we have to work through that addiction and change that fixed cycle to a positive fixed cycle while you're working the process, realizing that my brain is going to go dark for a while. And it's going to be my willpower that's going to help me through this. But I've got to push through it until I retrain the synapses in my brain to do the correct thing. So that would be the first step. Start doing the right thing and do it long enough till it becomes a habit. And then it'll turn into a fixed cycle. Then it turns into a positive addiction.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
buddy.
that.
Boom, just like that.
Yeah,
Just
buddy.
like that was a perfect answer. I don't know what you thought I might be thinking, but that was awesome. Because that is so true that we have addictions to all sorts of different things, whether it's watching TV, whether it's sleeping longer than we even need to. Some people are addicted to that. Some people
Yeah.
we could go on and on, but as soon as you start to realize that you can be in control and you start to exercise that willpower to the point where it's no longer something that you have to strain your self-control to do, then you're on the way. You're on your way.
That's
And
right.
a lot of us wait until we have this catastrophic event in our lives to make those changes.
Oh yeah.
But how much better would we be if we could make the change before?
Boy, if you can get out in front of it, you'll suffer a lot less. That's for darn sure.
Yeah. It's that
And the options are much greater.
Yeah, they
The
are.
options are much greater. Like
yes.
a lot of people that I work with, Jay, they wait until they hear that report. The doctor says, you've got diabetes. The doctor says, you've got 6 months to live. I mean, and people say, oh, where's Ron? I'm like, here I am. I'm here. I'm waiting for you. I wish you'd have came 6 months earlier, or 2 years earlier. Let's turn this around right now before we hear that doctor's report. But that's what motivates them. That's what kicks them into gear for some people. Some just want to be, they want to change before then. And even, I work with a lot of people in Renatus. I mean, Renatus draws a tremendous caliber of people, of human beings. I mean, I've never worked with such caliber of individuals where they say, well, he's Mr. Universe. I'm going to get results by osmosis. Guess what? Not going to happen. But this caliber of people, they come with the mind to work, man, to say, what is it that I need to do for the most part? What do I need to do? And I have to say, wait a minute, that's too much. Back off a little bit. More is not better, and I have to kind of pull the reins back a little bit. These are go-getters. So it's been a real pleasure working with Renatus. I mean, the group of people that Bob has attracted. I mean, even you two are good quality people that proves the type of caliber that Renatus really, really draws. So I really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Ron. Yeah, that is. So, last question. Maybe you can answer it, maybe you can't. How many pounds of fat have you shaved off of Renatus? Do you know?
Oh my goodness. Listen, yes. It was the last count that I had was 15,000 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
15,000 pounds.
That is awesome. Oh, think about how many people that's incredible.
There's no other company that I've worked with that I've been able to be that successful with.
Yeah.
But Renatus, I mean, it's been tremendous, man. Renatus has been a tremendous group for me to work with. I've loved it.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
That is
15,000
so cool.
pounds. We need to get a representation of that. Get like a train or something, and just this is how much Ron Williams is taking off for the Renatus
Seriously.
family.
How many 50-pound dumbbells is that?
Oh
Stacked
man.
up?
Well, I tell you what, Mr. Williams, I cannot wait to see you at the national conference. I cannot wait for the Renatus family to once again have an opportunity to learn from you, to be near you, and to feel of your goodness, your faith, your love. You are truly, it's an honor to know you. It's an honor to have you as part of the Renatus family. And just as you said, it just goes to show the character of Bob Snyder, that he attracts people like you into the family. And I mean, you've been here for years now. And yeah, you're stuck. You're with us, man. You're amazing. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you so much, man, and God bless both of you. And I'm looking forward to being there, buddy.
Yes.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, I want to go ahead and just give a shout out to Mr. Andrew James, who has been our producer today. I also want to remind each one of you to get registered for the national conference. You go into your back office, go to the calendar, and then find the event. It starts March 31st. Find the event on the Utah calendar and get registered today. We only have a couple of seats left that are reservable. We only have a couple of shirts left. and then we're done. Once the shirts are gone, they're gone. There's no like second chances there. But I tell you what, one of the things that makes the Renatus family incredible are the people that are associated to it. So thanks everybody for being with us. We will see you next week. Renatus rocks.